Hi, hi, it's Nick on the 5th of January with the 5th episode of this week's theme about your spirit of adventure. Now, I think one of the most important relationships we need to have is an empowering relationship with our own sense of what I have come to call resistance. Here's how I tend to look at it. That there are, whatever kind of language you want to use, but there are impulses in our soul for us to blossom. Something creative wants to come out of us, some form of expression, some form of showing up in the world is nudging us. There's always a new chapter waiting to emerge from us, from our soul, if you like. And then our ego and our personality is present as well. And as we get inspired about this new chapter and this new adventure and this new possibility, that ego part of us starts to kick in and says, who do you think you are? You know, that will never work. You'll look stupid if that doesn't work out. You know, who do you think you are to think you could ever do anything like that? Get back in your box, you know. And I'm sure you can recognize the language of the harsh inner critic that we all have. And sometimes it masquerades as very good thinking, and sometimes it doesn't even bother to masquerade. It just comes out and attacks us like mad. So I'm sure you can recognize that. So for years I thought there was just something wrong with me, that seemed to happen every time I got inspired about, you know, a new chapter of my life, some next chapter of my adventure of life. So I used to think it was a character defect on my part. And what I've come to realise now, a couple of decades later, having, you know, spoken around the world about all this, is it's universal. We all experience it to a degree. We're all subject to it. But when we don't realise that it is a universal thing, that we all are subject to this, we can just use it as another way to beat ourselves up and go, you know, I know what I want to do, I know what I'm inspired to do, and I'm just useless because I'm not doing it. So first thing is, there's nothing wrong with you for having resistance. It's part of the software of being human. Secondly, there is something in you greater than your resistance. So that's really important to know, that there are resources, skills, capabilities in you that get you beyond your resistance. Thirdly, the level of your resistance, I think, bears a direct relationship to the level of creativity wanting to emerge from you, the level of inspiration, the level of potential success waiting for you when you get past your resistance. So in a way, you know, the way I tend to think of it now is resistance is kind of blocked creative energy, blocked leadership energy, blocked adventurous energy, whatever language you want to use. But it's good energy that's got blocked somehow. And as we unblock it, there is this energy available to us. And I think for me, certainly, and what I see in most people is, you know, that unblocking process goes on for the rest of our lives. It certainly is for me. I'm continually unblocking myself of, you know, stuff that's in the way of me expressing myself, to become freer and freer. Another thing to understand about resistance is it's a secondary force. It always kicks in after you got inspired about something. It kicks in when your soul is beckoning you. When that spirit of adventure arises in you, resistance will be there, just, you know, sometimes days later, weeks later, sometimes seconds later or minutes later. They're like a double act. You can't buy one without getting the other. Like, you know, a supermarket offer, buy one, get one free. Get inspired to your spirit of adventure, cue resistance, cue fear, cue doubt, whatever, cue procrastination, whatever your particular flavour of resistance is. They go together. So to me, it's not about, you know, one day I'm going to be free of my resistance. It's one day I'm going to feel confident enough to act in the face of my resistance. And my experience is, as we act in the face of our resistance begins to subside because our confidence grows, our capabilities expand. So it's not about getting rid of resistance, it's about acting in the face of it, and accessing what's bigger than you. So if you want to really tap into your own spirit of adventure this year, I think you're going to need to have an empowering understanding and relationship with your own resistance. I know inevitably, but a bit like thunder and lightning, you know, when you see lightning, you know thunder's not going to be far behind. I know still, even to this day, that when I'm inspired about a new project or a new evolution, a new adventure, it's going to be a little while before, you know, the resistance kicks in and I start to go, oh, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Maybe I was fooling myself, you know, who do I think I am to do that? I kind of anticipate it now. So actually one of the most empowering relationships you can have is to anticipate your own resistance and almost welcome it and go, great, it means I'm on track. And I also do believe that the level of our resistance, the more important actually a project or a calling or a decision is to your own soul's evolution, if you like, the more resistance you're likely to feel to doing it. So it's actually, in a funny kind of way, even though it's very uncomfortable, obviously, it's actually a good sign. It shows you're daring boldly. It shows you're dreaming boldly. So welcome your resistance. It tells you you're right on track, actually. And obviously it's an invitation to courage and to boldness, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow. So hopefully, hope that's been useful to you. Obviously it's a topic I'm passionate about. I've written books on the subject because, I just see so many of us get caught in our own resistance, and I want to help us get beyond our resistance and show up as who we truly are in the world. All right, God bless. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.